Yo.
Yay. Welcome to the new meta episode 82.
80 mother fluffing 2, dude.
I'm still in the hospital, as you can see behind me.
Yeah.
They haven't released me yet. They're going to have to amputate my right arm.
Gosh, it might even make you a
But
better Diablo player.
Do you see how they have an extra cot right here?
Yeah.
That's for you, man.
Oh.
I hear that you just slit your wrists.
I did. I want to. Yeah, I just...
What happened?
I have 2 claws. They're both pretty decent. They're not like best in slot, but they're pretty good.
What's a claw? What's a claw?
A claw's a weapon.
Break it down for those people who don't pay. Play theory.
It's a weapon, okay? It's a one-hand weapon in PoE for the poison builds that I like to play. It's pretty good, and I nulled it because I had a double veiled mod syndicate. I know you know exactly what that means coming up. So I was like, well, I need to get rid of one of these suffixes so I can syndicate craft. And I fucked it. I fucked it hard. I bricked it. And I didn't have a backup, so it was even more stupid.
So this is a gamble, right?
Total gamble. Total gamble.
And what percent did
40%.
you say you had?
40%.
20%?
40. I had a 40% chance.
You had a 40% chance to get what you wanted.
Yeah.
60% chance to get fucked.
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody, and with no backup. Okay. So if somebody said, hey, Fluff, we're going to roll some dice.
Yeah.
If it's 40 or lower, you win. Anything higher, I win.
What do I win?
If I win, I take your house.
Okay.
If you win, I double your value of your house. I buy you one worth twice as much. You taking that roll?
Is Twitch chat there to say, no balls or no?
Well, Twitch chat would never say something like that.
Of course they would.
They would never say that.
I mean, normally if I'm just out in the street, I'd be like, no, but Twitch stream, it's totally different. You gotta roll the dice.
So what's your backup plan? You just use. Can you use it shitty now? Like, can you still use it?
I can, yeah. My name's just nerfed though. I'm gonna have to delve tonight and figure something out. I really fucked it up. I shouldn't have done that.
Well, I mean, you're playing Trade League, right?
No, never.
There's your mistake right there.
No, it's not.
Says
my guy who played Trade League once.
Let's get into the poll from last week.
Yeah. So last week we had a pretty juicy discussion over item durability. Does it make sense in the current year of ARPGs? We talked the pros and cons. And what do you guys think? I'll give you one last chance to vote. Actually, we didn't have chat open. You're going to do this rapid fire team if you want to get in before we look at the results. But yeah, so should have durability. I don't know. What did you vote and what do you think won? ThaPChild.
I would say that people are going to say yes. I would vote. Honestly, I don't care. Either way, I can see pros and cons for both, like we talked about last week. I would vote no. I would say no.
Okay.
I think there are more ingenious ways for gold dumps and other things, but I see the +2. So
yeah, I mean, if we see like vanilla, I don't know. It's tough because it's like if this is how you kind of throttle players from just like zerging and killing themselves over and over, then yes.
But there are just more clever ways to do that.
Of course. Like. But at the end of the day, like, there's nothing in the Diablo to stop you. So I don't know. I would say yes. I'll say yes. Pretty split. Yeah.
Wow.
53% of votes says yes. 47% of the vote says no. So you're wrong. By 6%.
Well, I voted on all his alt accounts. He's like, gotta skew it.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty split down the middle.
Right.
Again, I don't think that has a huge impact as long as they do it well. So
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Agreed. And then our bonus podcast poll from last week. After
ThaPChild,
this
one had more votes.
Imminent death, who shall take over as trusty sidekick of the new meta podcast? I'll let you guys vote on this one real quick too.
Well, you'd still be the sidekick. You'd have to get a new Batman.
I need a new sidekick.
You're still Robin.
No. So it'd be Quinn69, Bloodshed, Wyatt Chang, DatMods, Beantown Matthew, the Diablo 3 producer, Mr. Llama, and Riker. Who do you vote? To
be Riker.
In your will.
It would be Riker in my will.
Just to troll me, or?
No, man. I think you guys would be best friends. Honestly, once you got to know each other.
We're great. We're great. We played, it was me, Quinn69, Siegel, the popular Overwatch streamer, and Riker. And we were playing, we played a board game at BlizzCon.
And it was fun.
Was nice. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. You guys got to bond a little bit.
Yeah, we're best buds now.
Wyatt, man.
Wyatt. Yeah.
Wyatt.
Yeah. Okay. I
already know you're gonna pick Quinn. Just fucking do it.
I mean, sure. Let's just do it. Voting.
Come on, he's
the
your man
popular vote. 23% of the vote says Quinn69. 18% of the vote says Wyatt Chang. 16% says Bloodshed. 13% says Llama. Another 13% says Riker. 11% says Beantown Matthew. That's probably the Blizzard employees, the 14 people to watch from Blizzard. And then 8% says DatMods. It's true.
Now, why did this poll get twice as many votes as the other one, though?
Honestly, because I posted the wrong poll until like halfway through the week.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my bad. But next week, we're asking, should next season's theme be just as OP as this one, or should we scale the power back? Option 1, not more power, 150 solo rifts for the win. Option 2, bro, it's way too OP.
Just for the record, chat's asking, am I getting replaced? No, man. No, we're just joking with the hospital thing.
Yeah,
I was sick
wink, wink,
week.
Chat. Wink, wink. Got it. We need a co-host that's actually going to play like other ARPGs, so we're on the market. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I didn't have
Did we read
the
that
schedule
poll?
up. Yeah, I just did. What are you on about? Let me bring up the schedule. Are you lagging out or what?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
damn it. Come on. Hang on. Time out.
Buff is prepared for this pod.
I am. Well, the claw, bro. Fuck me.
Got you.
But yeah, so in first news we have just some more talk about with the PTR. I mean, we're pretty due at this point to at least get some patch notes. But I thought this post was really interesting. Brandy gets on and kind of talks about like the workflow. And I don't know if she's like even trolling, but if she's not, this is the most crazy workflow I've ever seen. Like, it's so much red tape. So she basically says, the ETA, it's in progress. I did the bulk of the writing before the break with some touch-ups after coming back. Now it has to go through multi-phase preparation for release, verifying text with our development team for accuracy and tone, review with our editorial team for grammar and polish, deliver to our localization teams to be translated into all supported languages, then redistributed to our regional community managers for formatting and publishing. There's also asset creation and review that happens in tandem for things like headers, thumbnails, or any in-blog images, all which follow a similar structure. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, it should publish before the release of 2.6.8 PTR. That's just a post about
seems realistic to me. I mean, you know,
that's a lot.
To represent a big company, I don't think that would take as long.
I don't know. Like, how serious do you have to take yourself as a game company? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Blizzard's one of the front runners. I could see that. I can definitely see that. But again, that process to me would be like, you know, they send the notes. The biggest part would be the initial write-up that she said she already did. So, like, once you send it back to the dev team to read over, I mean, how long would that really take? If you find comb patch notes, 20, 30 minutes? Like, I can read the patch notes in like 5. So let's say I go super slow just to make sure it's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
If I take 30, you know? and then say, yeah, it's good. I don't know. I don't know how the translation would go, but
Sure.
it's full transparency, I guess. At least she's trying. I think that was genuine feedback. I think she was trying to give the feedback to him.
It's just crazy.
But
I mean, we always knew that there'd be. I mean, it's a corporate company, so there's gonna be a lot of red tape. But whew,
the season started November 22nd.
22nd. Okay, so, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah. So December 22nd is a month. So January 22nd is going to be 2 months.
2 months.
That's next week. That's a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's 8 days.
And we said we're gonna get. They said we're gonna get 2-week PTR. So
right. So hopefully we're gonna get some quick time in between, and they're gonna need feedback for that. So it looks like season 19 is gonna be longer than 3 months. I just don't see how it's 3 months at this point. It's already past due.
Why? What?
Because we got a month. We got 4 weeks until it's 3 months. Right?
No.
Yeah.
We have
tomorrow. A week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow is 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So we in a 3-month season. So we got 5 weeks left. Exactly.
So from February 22nd would be 3 months.
Yep.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it's going to be a 3-month season, then they probably need to be announcing shit next week.
I almost think that they should take longer. And hear me out. Okay. One, they need to get off this stagger they're on with PoE right now. It's killing me. It's killing a lot of people. It's killing the Diablo season by having the PoE season come out literally like 2 weeks, 1 week after the season starts. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's got to change.
It's murdering the season. Yeah. 2 is I'm not done with PoE yet, so I'm gonna need them to just hang off for a bit.
Just push that back. Yeah. So if the PTR drops next week, are you gonna even play it?
Yeah, of course. There's no fucking question. If we get any kind of changes for Diablo, I'm on Diablo, figuring it out, new builds, especially if it's Necro. Good God, I will say that if like the changes come out and it's like, the Wizard gets a new set and the DH gets a new set, and there's like some balance changes with those two classes. My interest level is still there, but it's definitely not that high. Because if there's no Necro, then I'm just bored.
I hear that.
But yeah, that's that. And then you had some notes in here about
I just to talk about the state. I mean, this kind of ties into everything we're feeling like. At least my feedback and my perspective is only from my community and from Twitch in general. But it feels like, to me, this is one of the lowest states I've seen the game in right now. Like, my community is not engaged at all. Like damn near everybody's like, I'm not playing. I find myself struggling. I'm making myself play. I don't want to. And this is the all-time low for me as far as like the number of chatter I hear in my Discord, the number of community members in my community in game, like, Twitch numbers just all across the board, not just mine, but like all the D3 streamers.
Yeah.
Seem pretty low. So, YouTube, engagement, things like that. So that's how I judge it, because that's the numbers, the metrics I can see. But to me, man, it just feels like it was about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and then PoE hit and it hurt a little bit. And then 2 weeks after that, it was just like a brick wall, smashed everybody. It was just gone, So I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that this, the current cadence that we're in, I don't think it's going to hold up much longer. I really don't. I feel like, it's going to end up being like 2 week seasons, 2-3 week seasons, and then people are going to vanish,
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I think that's definitely been a thing for a while, at least with some of the players that have gone ham since like the early seasons. Like they'll come back for a couple of weeks. Look at players like ThaPChild, someone who's played a fuck ton since like basically vanilla. He'll come back for the first week, 1-2 weeks of every season, and then that's kind of it, for somebody like him. And it's kind of been that way for me the past few seasons as well, like 2 weeks. But again, a lot of that is timing into the PoE League start being so fucking close.
Right.
And again, I honestly think that if we staggered a little bit better, it would be better, because I do think there is a lot of players that play both. it's becoming, more acceptable to play both. I think, we're trying to break that wall down that says like, oh, if I'm playing PoE, that means I've quit Diablo and vice versa.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Yeah.
I don't get as much hate anymore as I used to. I mean, but Grim Dawn's releasing soon too, isn't it? Or was it Wolcen? Which one's one of them is dropping really soon?
Grim Dawn's been out for a very long time.
Yeah, for a long time. Maybe they had an update or something coming out. I don't know. Yeah, it was Wolcen.
Yeah.
But it got pushed back, I heard.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, it did get pushed back. But yeah, like, I mean, I will say, like, usually, to talk about numbers really is, usually for me to go to PoE, the numbers drop like pretty big. And now it's almost gotten to the point where, usually if I stream Diablo, I get a decent amount of viewers because, like, people like watching Diablo. But now they actually go down. So it's like, it's a really weird state for Diablo to be in. Like, I've never seen this before.
Either.
Like late season getting like 200, 300 people versus like 500 is a little weird. And like, like some of the big boys, right? Like your Bloodshed, like the amount of people he has in his stream at this time of season, I think is statistically a little bit lower as well. So obviously there's some burnout happening, which is really unfortunate, but
yeah, it just sucks. I just don't know what they can do about it. I don't think there's anything they can do about it at this point,
I thought about this. I thought about this long and hard. Okay. Which is on to the next topic. Okay. So one of the things that they've talked about for Diablo 4 is this consumable that basically gives you the effect of a legendary that you can enchant onto an item.
Yep.
What if, because that's not that great of an idea, they scrapped that, but they gave it to D3. And now in Diablo 3, so say you have your Pestilence set, and this is all built in. This is all already baked in, right? So you got your Pestilence set, and you get like a currency item. And the currency item will slam a random legendary power onto your Pestilence chest piece. So say you get, it's got to be Ancient Plus, right? So you say you get an Ancient Pestilence, maybe even Primal Pestilence chest, and it's got like Invite and Corpse Lance damage, and it's like, it's juicy as fuck. And you got to slam it, and you get a fucking like Barbarian legendary effect. And you just like, you've officially killed it.
You officially screwed it.
And so then you have to like get another Ancient, and then maybe it's not as good, but you slam it, and it hits something like pretty good for the Necro.
Only chest piece? Or is that just an example?
Just an example.
Okay.
And then so it's effectively like you're cubing every piece of gear. The only downfall of all this, of course, is that I think they'd have to like kind of do a nerf across the board. They probably just have to like just nerf, because otherwise like the power creep would just like be too strong, like too insane. But it's something. It's not outside of the wheelhouse of Diablo, to add a.
I guess it depends on how the items are generated, though. Like, would that have to make a new item? You know what I mean? Then would they have to have every chest piece with every single legendary affix in the database? Is that how they're going to generate it, or can it create it on demand?
I would think.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'd be like an augment. Like you just add it on top of an item, and it kind of sits there like a invisible secondary cube or something. Like it. I don't think it would have to.
That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting idea. And this kind of relates back to the first thing we talked about with the balance patch. Apparently there's like, we kind of glossed over, we went straight into the process of it, but they're working on a blog post about game balance. I'm assuming this is specifically for Diablo 3. But are they going to try to rebalance this game at this point? I mean, I thought that was out the window. Do you think they're going to come back and try to rebalance Diablo 3?
Yeah, I've always kind of thought that would be kind of the ultimate swan song for Diablo, is to walk away from a game that's, like every set can do that, like 120,
what would be your rift? What's your rift level that you hope? If you walked away, what should everything be doing?
I think 120s in that safe house. I think if you're 130, which seems to be their approach, then you're just too close for 4-man to get to 150s. And I don't want to see 4-man ever hit the GR cap. So I would say 120 should be like the solo cap. and every set should be hitting 120.
If the Swan Song, when they're done updating the game, I'm assuming all the seasonal themes would go on a rotation, right? It would automate.
True.
Just boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom.
maybe.
So we're still gonna have this seasonal theme that we have right now. There, it'll be like season of ridiculous power.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So maybe that's a thing. I was kind of in the same. I was going a little lower. I would say like 110s to 112s. I feel like that's a nice power cap. It's so far below that 150 cap that I feel like that's a lot to push up to get. People could probably still abuse mechanics and get it done.
I think 120 is a better number, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're pushing 120, that probably means you can do like that 105 range pretty well. Which probably means you can like speed farm 90s to 100s, and then you can AUG at like level 100, and that feels pretty good versus like AUGing at level 90. It just, I don't know, it feels different.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
So I think again, 120.
Yeah, a 120 balance. I could see that. That'd be.
And then your 4-mans, you're pushing in the 140s, but you're not going to hit 150 probably. Unless
they're going to have to nerf everything across the board to get down there, you know?
Yeah, I think they should. They get, one of the things, you were there, we were at BlizzCon, and like Quinn was being Quinn, and he was like talking to Frankie or whatever, and he's like, why don't you guys just do a spreadsheet, right? And like you just change the numbers every season, and you're like, well, that was too strong, so let's back that off. That set off a little bit. And I don't know that necessarily resonated, but I'm sure I'm hoped it's something that they already do, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think tweaking the numbers is a lot more involved than we think it is. Like getting the balance. I don't feel like
they do always go quiet when you're like, isn't it just like a row in the database, or isn't it just like a number? Like just change the number. They always go quiet.
I feel like it's super complicated for them to change numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Like it's not like, or maybe they don't have an internal testing method to like really. It's not like maybe, because I always assume that devs have these dev kits where they could be like, okay, we're plugging these numbers in. Here's a mob that doesn't hit back, and like a damage meter. Let's just check and see what this hits for, you know? But maybe that's not the case, you know?
Yeah, there's obviously some crazy technical debt happening, especially with like the loading your stash in memory. Like, what the heck?
Too much memory.
But yeah, I thought that if Diablo 4 decides to shy away from the idea of having a legendary in every slot, which they should, that D3 could kind of absorb that idea. That would be cool, but I don't know that Diablo 4 would step away from that idea.
Yeah, I do like it.
Yeah. In other things, as much of the negative things I have to say about Diablo 4, the two things that I speak praise about with Diablo 4 is, one, obviously the engine. I think the engine is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it looks good for sure.
And two, the scale. Like, again, I wanted to touch on it, and I think there's like this Reddit post, and I think it did a pretty good job of kind of conveying that. So this right here, I don't know, some of you guys listening won't be able to see this, but this is what we saw in the demo. And you can speak to that as well, because we both played a ton. I mean, it felt pretty big. It was a pretty big zone. It was a good amount of stuff to do, I think I would say it took like 4 or 5 phases of the demo to really do all the things. So that's like at least, how long was it down with 20 minutes?
So I think we got 15. Was it 15 or 20?
I think it's 20.
25. I don't even know. It was a good little chunk.
Yeah.
So and I know you couldn't hit all the points in one playthrough.
Right. No,
there wasn't enough time to even get there.
Right. And so I was saying, like, it probably took like 4 playthroughs to do all the content, and that was like, there wasn't that many quests in the demo, so I would assume there's like at launch would be like way more things to do. So say there's way more things to do on this map, plus the sheer size of it already. It's probably like hours. At least like 3 to 5 hours worth of content in just this little patch, right?
Yep.
And to give a sense of that, so they also showed us, this is kind of the overview of the map in Diablo 4. We just see these like 5 starting areas, and then to kind of give feel of what that really is, we kind of back it out even further. I wish I could like zoom out. Yeah, here we go. So this is the fucking chunk, and this is what I always say when people I'm like, the scale is insane. So we get this chunk of all this shit. That's insane. That's beyond insane.
And that's just like X and Y. Like they could also go Z with digging down too.
Yeah.
Like you know, like you could have that little chunk, but you could dig a cave that just spirals down for fucking ever, you know?
Right.
So it's massive. It's going to be, and like I said, unless they chunk out big sections of those zones, but let's say they put a huge swamp in that swamp area that you just can't get into and kill some of the map that
like
way.
They just cut off the map right there. Yeah.
Right. If some of it's all explorable, like that's a ton of land.
Yeah.
Which again, they put mounts in the game. So that's kind of the way. And it kind of makes me wonder, part of the appeal and part of the downside to WoW Classic is traveling. It takes for fucking ever to get anywhere. That's also what kind of ruined it is when they made you insta portal, insta queue for everything when there was no travel required. So if they put mounts in the game, what are your feelings about going from place to place to place?
I mean, they already said there's going to be mounts and waypoints. So
if you can just instantly waypoint around like Diablo 3, like anywhere on this map, just
I would assume it'd be like, you know, kind of like WoW is to an extent in the retail. Like, so there'd probably be like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 per place.
Major cities, yeah. Like each zone has a major hub. I would be cool with that. Each zone having a major hub that you can waypoint to, and then from there, you gotta mount up, man.
Right. Yeah. I could see that.
So I hope they don't ruin the experience, the vastness, by just letting you just blip all over the place.
Right.
You know.
And then to kind of scale it back even further, we take a look at the Diablo 3 map, and we see, you know, this is what we're getting access to basically in Diablo 4. And so there's a lot more that they can add on to in expansions. There's a lot more they can really do.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. I actually like that. I've never seen that map before. The big world map. So
it's pretty pog. And then what I found interesting is that someone even pulled up the Diablo 2 map, and it's pretty similar too. And I could have sworn at the end of Diablo 2 didn't like Tyrael like blow up the world stone. I thought that like changed the world, but it looks pretty similar still. I don't know. Maybe some lore nerds in chat can. I guess it's a little broken up and stuff, but
yeah, like the eastern side looks punked off.
But it made it seem like, oh, the whole world got like blown to bits. I don't know.
Well, we don't know how accurate this map is either.
True.
Just when they're unless it came from Diablo 4 somehow.
But yeah, to really drive home, like, oh my god, like, and I would say this in my YouTube video, and people would be like, bro, it's not that big, because I think people thought that this was it, right?
Right.
I think most people thought that this was it. That's just that top Skulls Glen. I think that people thought it was just that, but it's fucking all of that.
I would say to go from side to side, from east to west, in that little demo segment we got was probably a 10 to 15 minute run.
Yeah,
on foot.
Probably 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's like with maybe a druid with some movement skills, right? Like if you're just like on a whiz or like a barb in the demo, you didn't even have any mobility skills. You're just like walking.
Right. Boulders.
Yeah. But yeah. But while we're on the subject, can you? So poof, PTR comes out tomorrow. We get the notes. What's like something that you could see on that list that would even get you a little hyped up?
If the notes came out, what note do I want to see that makes me like, oh shit?
Yeah.
Man, that's a hard question. Things that I know are unrealistic. Like, I'm trying to think of something realistic. Honestly, man, I need a new end game so bad. I'm just so burnt out of grinding just riffs.
In the realm of possibility, gosh.
And in the realm of possibility, I would be excited. Obviously, I want to see the new sets.
Yeah.
You know, I that's got to be on there. And honestly, I think that's what's holding it up, because I think that they're trying to get us something good. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But the new sets, and I would like to see. I don't want to see Witch Doctor. So, Wizard. I think it'd be cool to to see Wizard's new set.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say I'm gonna save Necro for you. So,
Necro for next season? I don't know, man. I'm all for Necro being last, as long as we get like a little juice in the form of some balance changes. And
I want to see. Okay, I want to see a patch change that I want to see. I want to see the builds that require macro timing gone, like actually fucking gone. Like Star Pact, because you have to macro it to play it efficiently,
right?
And stutter stepping on the Crusader, the stutter stepping shit in general. I think that'd be cool.
You basically kill Rayquaza too if you kill stutter stepping, kind of not stutter stepping, but like
animation
canceling.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I mean, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like they got Whirlwind now, so it's okay. Like nobody's ever gonna play Rayquaza.
You heard it here, guys. ThaPChild says Nerf Barb. You know, that's a really popular community opinion. People love it when you say Nerf Barb. It's got me well loved on the Barb forums.
Well loved, and the Barbs love you, dude.
They're still talking about it. I read a post today that someone made today. I was like, oh, the guy that talked about the small Nerf, that fucking idiot. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, let it go.
What about you, man? What's gonna make you excited?
Oh man, well, so many things. You know, again, we made this whole post. Well, so if you're, Blizzard, if you're watching, just go look at my Necro post, right? So it's super juicy, but there's some really like quick win stuff you can do to the Necro. I think if we're gonna see one thing, they could do two really small things. It would really kind of overhaul the Necro. Not overhaul. That's a bit of an overstatement, but like change it up, spice things up. One is Jesseth just being a flat 400% damage mod. Like you already get penalized by running command skeletons, so like why does it only apply to pets? So if you can remove that pet requirement on the damage, that's going to open up some possibilities for the Necro. Plus, it lets you like wear the cool looking shit, right? Like Jesseth looks cool. Like you get that skull shield and you get the skull scythe, and like you just never use it because Jesseth isn't that good. Two is, I'd like to see Cold Lancer come back. So Pestilence has fallen behind. So buffing Pestilence up to the levels of whatever Skeletal Mage, or not Skeletal Mage, sorry, just the LOD Mage or whatever, push build, bring it up to those levels. And
bring it in line with where it should be.
Yeah, being in line with where it should be, whatever that means, like buffing the Corpse Lance damage, probably the 6-piece bonus. And then I think that there's no risk at all. And let me know if you agree with this. I think there's literally zero risk in buffing the Bone Spear damage on Pestilence 6-piece by like hundreds of thousands. It doesn't change anything. It only makes like spear not shit, but you're never gonna like fit it into like an actual like push build probably. And if you did, you'd have to like alter the way you played or alter it in some way that you'd make just a whole new push build. But like you can scale the 6-piece Bone Spear damage up, and you basically wouldn't have any risk in doing that.
Isn't that what in your? I mean, I haven't played Necro in many seasons now. So when you're playing Pestilence push, isn't the 6-piece Bone Spear damage is what kills what you're sniping the elites with?
No, the Bone Spear is literally doing nothing. It's the Corpse Lance damage.
I'm thinking of the Corpse Lance. Okay, yeah. You're right. Yeah, Bone Spear doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So why do you want it juiced up? What do you want to juice it up?
Well, for one, there's literally no reason for it to be as weak as it is. Like it's just there. Like if you've ever played Blight Spear, like you spam spears to trigger Obsidian and the Zodiac, and
it does not. It doesn't damage
because it does zero fucking damage. But it's on the 6-piece. Like it's supposed to do damage, and the weird 2-hand scythe, what's it called, Petrified Spike. Like the fact that it increases the cost of the Bone Spear, like it just makes no fucking sense. Like it's counterintuitive, and like you get more mana costs, but the Bone Spear still does shit for damage. So I don't know. You can make a lot of fun builds if you made Bone Spear like a viable
maybe
thing.
You can get some speed T16s that are just shooting bombs.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
imagine you're playing Blight Spear and you shot the spear and it actually like killed stuff. Like it'd be crazy. Like you can't even fathom that. What I would really want to see at the end of the day, the reason I suggest Pestilence kind of first is, the rise of Blight Spear again. I think that Necro has fallen behind the speed meta solo like really hard. And of all the builds to kind of like to farm on, I think that it's the best one, and it's like the highest. I don't know. Like I say, like it's like an art form, because it really is at the end of the day, like compared to everything else in the game.
Would you like to see them change the try goal set completely?
Yeah, I mean, like one of the things we always suggest is, so you can't just buff Traghouls, because then you shift.
Traghouls and the Pestilence set are the same. Like they're the same.
If you just buff Traghouls, then you shift the meta back towards Bloodlance, and Bloodlance was just a shittier version of Cold Lance. So Cold Lancer should be like the Pestilence push, like that. It's fine. It's actually it feels like a proper build. It's regardless of whether you love or hate it, it's a cooldown based thing, and that kind of sucks. But it is like it feels like a build, whereas Bloodlance is just kind of a shit show. So the only way to rectify that is to either you drastically change how the Blood Lancerin works, and so it just doesn't do that much damage, or change it somehow so it just doesn't play like a Corpse Lance build, or you just like remove it, and then that gives you the freedom to buff Traghouls by a lot, like a lot, and then you'd see like Blood Mage become more of a popular build. Blood Nova be like a lot more powerful for torment farming, maybe even pushing if you buff it enough. But you know what, like if you like read the whole post, I would encourage anyone that's interested in Echo to read the post. But like there's some really cool stuff. Like if say we had the cap removed, or for like what's possible in Diablo, like some of these reworks I think could be like really, really fun, really, really amazing. But those are just like at the end of the day.
So that's not in the realm of possible, but the item tweaks are though.
Right. Item tweaks I think are 100%. Like changing Traghoul, like all you have to do is change Bloodlance, and you buff Traghoul. You can buff Bone Spear on Pestilence, and you can buff Pestilence 6-piece still. You can take the minions off of Justith, and just have it a flat damage mod. You can fix Final Service. That would be a huge change for the Necro. And you can, of course, buff an Arya 6-piece. It needs a buff anyways. And then the last thing that's the most ask of all of this is a bracer that gives Corpse Explosion damage. And then, we're basically good to go for a while.
Final Service is the cheat death, isn't it? Where all your pets get killed? Yeah. So all you got to do to fix that is just take the pet portion off.
Yeah, literally.
The pet sacrifice.
Yeah. And so if you did that, like from now until whenever you release the Necro set, like we're good to go, man. Like we're having fun. Everything feels good. GGG. But that's what
What if they drop these patch notes and it's a global nerf? Like what if this is the nerf patch?
Great. That means they're taking a step in the right direction. As long as we get juice to go with that. They can't just like hit nerfs across the board and then like no one gets like new builds, basically. That would just feel really, really bad.
Yeah. Nerfs across the board, but the 2 new sets come in. And they're clear front runners. You cool with that or no?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. As long, again, at the end of the day, it's like as long as Necro has something. I think that's the main takeaway is like every class, even if like say it's Wizard and DH next season, they get the new sets, right? Well then, Barb needs to get like maybe one thing, and Monk needs to maybe get like an LTK buff, right? Necro needs a Pestilence buff, and Witch Doctor needs like zombie charger item or something like that. Like something. Every class needs something. Doesn't need anything. What are you talking about? Yeah. But yeah.
What are you talking
something.
Everything could be really cool in the patch notes to get some up. Like it doesn't have to be in the patch. I want updates on the ban wave that happened. It like supposedly happened, but then people are in my chat talking about they didn't get me. You know? I'm like, cool, bro. And then the leaderboards don't seem to be reflected yet either. So,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man.
It sucks. I don't want to sound toxic, but I don't know. It does kind of feel like they're blowing smoke up our ass with that whole like, oh, their time's coming. And they definitely overhyped it for such a kind of traditional Blizzard ban wave.
Yeah, I want to see a post of like 50,000 accounts banned or some. You know what I mean? Like some fucking numbers. Or I want my chat to be lit one day with people being like, dude, you check the leaderboards. Right. There's like everybody's gone, and but I moved up on the bar board like 10 spots maybe. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I start looking at people, and there's still like 22-hour uptime.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, maybe they just didn't purge the leaderboard. I don't know, man.
Maybe they're waiting until Diablo's in one of its like up moments, right? Instead of like on the downward slope. Well, maybe like 2 weeks into next season they do like a big fucking wave,
or maybe they do it when the PTR drops or the notes drop or something.
Or when
that's would be cool. That would honestly probably be one of the most pog things for me to see. Would be just like, so I mean, at this point it doesn't really change my desire to want to play, I don't think,
right?
But it's just kind of like gotcha, at least.
Yeah,
I want a gotcha moment.
I think that's the smartest play if they're planning on doing a big thing, is like if it's like a week or 2 weeks into the season when like the big streamers are still in the directory, right? And it's just free publicity, and it's great publicity to like just kill all the rats. So yeah,
yep.
I think that'd be the best. But yeah, and so in other news, we see this. I haven't really played this, but I've heard great things from like Mr. Llama and a lot of people from Mr. Llama's chat been coming to the stream lately, and there's like, oh, Path of Diablo. Which I guess is like, it's just kind of like basically an add-on for or just like it's not even, what would be a good word for Path of Diablo? It's like, it's an open source, basically. It's like they've edited the game and they've given it like a bigger inventory.
Or like an update. Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like have a ton of improvements in this particular season. I guess they're gonna have like improvements to like a website for trading. They're gonna have a curse for the necro that like bleeds. They're gonna have the ability to change from 800 to 600 to 1068. By 600? Wow.
Oh,
native widescreen support.
That widescreen?
It almost looks like a game from the 90s now. No, but
I mean, listen, if you guys like Diablo 2, I love you for it. I can't play it because of graphically, it's like worse than PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Especially if we don't see Diablo 2 like rework for next BlizzCon, the 20-year anniversary of Diablo 2, like that would be the time to drop something like that. So if we don't see it next year at BlizzCon, I don't think we're getting it. Period. Right? I
don't think we're getting it.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
I think last year was the year to get it, and they didn't announce it then. And this year they gave us D4.
I don't know. There's so much though. Like they probably had it. Assuming that they have it. They probably would have sat on it because there was a lot at BlizzCon this year.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to drop it this year. It made sense to drop it last year, right?
True.
When they gave us nothing.
But maybe they just didn't have enough. I don't know.
All they needed, like they could have been like, yo, graphics team, we got a week until BlizzCon. We're fucked, Immortal, whatever. We were gonna show Diablo 4, can't make it. We need some D2 remaster. Just make shit up, man. Get some concept team, like draw some pictures. Give us some D4. I don't know, man. But I don't think we're going to get it ever. I don't think it's a thing. At least not until after.
I mean, it does make sense. The 20-year anniversary.
Classic did so well, though.
Of Diablo 2.
Classic did so well. I could see something maybe for the 20-year. Them being like, yo, this, maybe there's something to this retro shit. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Classic killed it. It's been 15. Like, let's throw Diablo.
You gotta assume that would slay. If say they redid it, and then instead of inviting a bunch of random streamers, they have like Llama come out, and he's like the first one to play it, and he's like doing a speed run, and if it plays the same or whatever, like that would be pretty pog.
Then it crashes. You couldn't speed run the game unless you were sure. Like you'd have to be sure it was.
Well, maybe that's why, right? So maybe that's why, like they're waiting because it has to be complete, basically. If they're having. Yeah. If that's their plan, which would be a brilliant fucking plan, then like
they need to do
be
some Apple shit where they're like, and it's available today, right now. You know what I mean?
That would be so shitty for the people that are there, though. I'd be like, well, I guess I'm flying home. Like, can I get a flight? Like,
okay, it's available next week.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sure.
Like,
Available after BlizzCon.
Right. Not this like BlizzCon long, you know?
Right.
Blizzard long. 6 years shit.
But yeah, Season 9 begins the 24th for Path of Diablo, if you guys are into that. I do plan on it, especially if they're not going to announce it this year. I will revisit Diablo 2 before Diablo 4 comes out. Just to play through it. Not probably
that's,
not to
you know, that's not a bad.
Right.
I could see it for the story, you know?
Sure, nerd.
I don't even remember Diablo 3's story that well because I skip every cutscene ever now.
What do you need to know? You know,
like
Butterfly
old dude dies.
kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Butterfly kills Deckard
and in other news, this thing, I don't know if you saw this, exclusive Magic Legends gameplay trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an ARPG that's coming out. And man.
Okay, pause it for just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Initial impressions of them running over that empty bridge. There you go, right? That's probably good, yeah.
You know, I mean, when I see that, I see the screen rotation, which I'm still not really sold on in any ARPG. I don't know.
I see the screen rotation, but you know what I saw on the screen rotation was I saw frame skipping.
Oh, yeah, for sure. On a trailer.
You know, that makes me want to vomit. In a trailer, that makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
So already, but it just looks like, oh man, I'm not super impressed by that, you know?
The first thing I noticed here, X, Y, B, A. You have 4 skills, and it's clearly designed for console.
X, Y, B, A. Where's the B at? On the right?
Here, yeah.
I can't see it.
It's Xbox, so that's right?
Xbox. Yeah. I was wondering if it was Switch or Xbox.
Yeah, man. It's very cartoony looking.
I
very
think
Diablo
it's
3.
silly not to design games for console, though. I do. I think Diablo 4 is going to be all 3 platforms. Hopefully, all 3 identical games. You know, and then PC playable with a controller.
I mean,
I think that's what they're. I think if they're smart, that's what they'll do because they want to sell 1 billion copies.
Sure, but like this, you got 4 skills. Mm-hmm. Like that's
and then maybe a trigger modifier. I would fucking hope, which could make it 8, which is
sure,
which is Lost Ark. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I again, you know, the wariness. I'm not one of those guys that thinks, oh, well, if you make it for console, it's gonna be shit. But the way this looks like too simple and kind of shit.
Yeah, I don't even see much of an interface there. So this is just showing like, hey, we got a game that's working. I feel like
right
because there's no interface at all. You know, so that's super alpha footage in my opinion, and that's okay.
But very cartoony. Very
I think
cartoony.
A lot of people are gonna shit all over when you say that. Like, I feel like they're gonna be like, oh man, only you can't do this for console and PC identical. But I really feel like crossplay is where it's going to be at in the future, and I hope the PC version is a little more complex than the console ports. But at the same time, that makes them basically have 2 different games they have to support instead of 1, and then crossplay is gone. Like. You know, think about how successful Fortnite is. Just want to play Fortnite? Yep. Doesn't matter what console. It doesn't matter if you're on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. You can bring your buddies in and play, you know? So, and I think as a streamer, that's going to make the communities a lot bigger. So selfishly for me, I'm like, yeah, man, what are you playing on? Doesn't matter, you know?
Sure.
Let's throw down. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that getting a console interface and a PC interface are 2 different designs. You know,
true.
Consoles. Just look at Diablo. Complexity.
But yeah, I mean, we'll give it a shot. I'm sure, but one of the things about this trailer, like they're really selling the camera rotation. Like that's, I don't know, it's not that cool. At the end of the day, like just design.
You're not going to want that while you're playing,
right? It just kind of makes you sick on an isometric game.
They better fix that frame hitching.
Yeah. And then, like you hinted at earlier, Wilson announced a slight delay on their initial launch. They're pushing it back a few weeks. I think they made a quote here. Where does it say? High quality polished game experience at launch. Our current situation, even a day of work, makes a huge impact on the final quality of Wolcen. We don't want to waste several years of development and the quality of such a strong project by releasing an unstable version of the game. I don't know, man. Like, Wolcen has been, it's been in development for literally ages. And two, when we played the alpha, we're like, oh, okay, this seems pretty cool. But we hadn't really played anything else yet. And so, like, between alpha and beta, we played the beta as well. We had played, like, Lost Ark and, like a Grim Dawn expansion and, obviously PoE and Diablo the whole time. And when I played the beta, it felt awful. It's still, like, graphically, like, it looks good, but, like, there's just not that many skills, and the skill tree itself, like that whole pivoting wheel thing, it just felt like super gimmicky. Even look at this UI. Like, this is the final product.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just looks like garbage kind of still.
It looks like PoE-ish to me.
It looks even worse. Yeah.
You think it looks worse?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. They're both pretty bad.
And so you spend like the purple juice and you get the orange juice. And I don't know. We'll give it another shot, I'm sure, but I don't know. I really don't have high hopes.
Are hyped about it, and I don't know. It didn't sell to me. Grim Dawn didn't really sell me either. I watched a lot of Grim Dawn, and
Grim Dawn's a good fucking game, dude. It is. It's the third best ARPG on the market, 100%.
It didn't sell me. The third best. So what's number one?
I mean, right now probably PoE, and then Diablo 3, and then.
So you think Grim Dawn's better than Lost Ark?
I mean, we can't really count Lost Ark because it's not NA.
Okay, maybe.
And again, like, you'll play more Lost Ark, and you'll kind of see, like, again, it's a great fucking game. Like, Lost Ark is literally so fucking. The combat is amazing. The PvP hard carries, but we can't play it because we're not in that same region. I just did some
story missions that were baller. I don't even know what they were saying because it was in Russian. Right. I got a general idea.
Right. So you're still in honeymoon phase. Huh? So you're still in that honeymoon phase.
Yeah, I am.
But you'll hit that end game, and then and then you log in, and there's only like 2 hours of content really to do a day, and that feels really bad. And then it's just like, well, I can grind PvP or I can grind dailies, and then it's kind of like the MMO. Like, it feels like an MMO, where you're just kind of like, well, I guess I make an alt because I've run out of things to do. I hate that. I actually really fucking hate that.
I agree with that too.
And Lost Ark unfortunately falls in that. But yeah, I guess they're just taking a little bit extra time to put a little bit more polish on. I mean, like, how many? I don't know. I would rather, if I'm an investor in this game, just like delay it. Like, how much content are you getting per day from now until the release? I don't know. I hope that they have some good end game systems, and it doesn't seem like there's a ton of skills. And it seems like of the skills that we saw in every phase of the game, like, there was only like a couple that were really that good. So I don't know. I want it to be good. It's not that I'm like shitting on it because I'm like, oh, mega lol, but
I'm interested in again, like, multiplayer. Like, I'm not interested in the single player personally. I'm personally not interested in the single player ARPG campaign style. Like, I want multiplayer in it. I want to group up with friends, or if they do like SSF stuff, then that's fine if you choose to do that. But have it be like, I want my characters stored online. I don't want local save file solo campaigns, things like that. I want it to follow the Diablo 3 PoE Lost Ark model, where it's like this online universe, not a single player. And I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research into Wolcen to see how its multiplayer works or any of that. But
sure.
I hope that they have some multiplayer in there, and it's good endgame.
Yep.
So
agreed.
But it does suck that it got delayed again for those people that were excited and pre-ordered it like 3 years ago and stuff.
Yeah, I think it does kind of feel bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the ARPG news. Quick PoE update. You know, I killed Awakener, Awakener 1, Awakener 2. We're creeping up to Awakener 8.
Nice.
Pretty good fight.
I saw some of it.
Yeah, you saw Awakener 2 kill.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah.
Looked interesting. It looked super RNG. Like the first time he just like stood in a bubble forever.
Yeah, I get hit
and
by
then he came out
corrupted
and killed you.
blood. You gotta watch out for that. But
did you figure out a mechanic there that you weren't aware of?
Well, you know, that one was weird because I knew I got hit by corrupted blood, and so I cured it right away. So I don't know, because when you cure a bleed in PoE, if you cure the bleed and then you hit max health, like your bleed curing goes away, and then you can technically get hit bleed like immediately again. So I think that's probably what happened. But yeah, so I think I cured it so fast that it actually ended up fucking me, because I just got hit with a bunch of bleed stacks again, and then I killed myself very fast. Yeah. I don't know.
Cool, man. Well, we got a couple Twitter questions.
Fluff hates. Hang on.
Oh, hold on. What are you hating on this week? My bad,
bro.
How dare
I? Man, I got a lot.
Okay.
So you know what? Okay. One of the things I heard this week. Okay, and just stay with me on this because it's gonna sound dark at first.
Okay.
So I heard this guy on the radio telling his story about how he would have his morning coffee, and he had like a Keurig or something, right? And then he cut out the Keurig because the Keurig has a lot of waste byproducts. They got the the little plastic K cups, and so you start going back to like brewing pots of coffee because he wanted to have a reduced footprint, right? Carbon footprint.
Right.
But then he like took it to the next level. He's like, well, then I found out I was wasting water by not drinking all of the coffee. So then he like measured how much coffee he was drinking over time, and then like took the average, and that's how much coffee he allowed himself to have every morning, as to like not waste water, to reduce his own carbon footprint, and how like he felt so much better, and he felt like he was making an impact on the environment and stuff like that. And
yeah.
It gets me like a little fired up, because I mean, good on him. Like, I'm so happy that everyone should really do as much as they can to reduce their own carbon footprint, obviously. But I really hate the kind of the scripted dialogue that the government kind of feeds us. So let me share a statistic with you. I don't know, a lot of people aren't aware of this one, right? So 90 companies account for 2/3 of the world's carbon emissions. 90 companies. And and so that makes 1/3 like every other company and us.
Right.
And so, you reducing the coffee you consume per day because you don't want to waste a little bit of water is like a microscopic drop in the bucket compared to what these 90 earth guzzling companies can do to like save the planet. And what I really hate is, instead of those companies, those big corporations like stepping up and a big thing is plastic is like, it's so much cheaper to just keep making more and more plastic instead of reusing old plastic.
Right.
Instead of like doing things like that, what they end up doing is, they don't want to stop making their billions and billions of dollars. So they'll just, racketeer and pocket politicians, and the politicians sell the dialogue that, you, the consumer, is the problem. You're over consuming. You had a plastic straw with your coffee this morning, and that's going to get stuck in a turtle's nose. And, like, you're the piece of shit. Like,
right.
If you would just, stop consuming so much, like, the world would be better. You need to keep consuming, but you need to be like smart about your recycling, and then we can make a difference, instead of maybe these like $1 billion companies changing how they like do things. And I just hate that sort of dialogue and shit like that. And like 8 companies, like literally 8 companies cause more pollution than the entire US. Like,
wow.
it's just insane. So
craziness, man.
You know,
I agree.
Hats, but
I can agree with those viewpoints.
Sure.
Yeah, and then you can pay a little bit more for that biodegradable straw too, right?
Yeah, dude. You know? I mean, I use paper straws every morning. I'm not gonna say that I'm, you know, if worst case scenario, I need a straw and I'll use a plastic one or whatever. But yeah, do what you can, guys. At the end of the day, but fucking get on your governments for doing more, and don't let them tell you that you're the bad guy, because they're pieces of shit.
There you go.
There you go.
This Fluff Hates brought to you by Turtles and Straws.
Earth. Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. Captain Planet sponsored this segment.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We got a couple Twitter questions this week. The first one comes from Effector. He says, if Diablo is above all the other prime evils, why does he always seem inferior in the games? You think that maybe the end boss of the final, do you think that maybe he should be the end boss of a final expansion for D4?
Yeah, that's a great, like, that's something we've been alluding to for a while. Is, you know, like the hardest fight in Diablo 3 was Belial.
Yeah.
Not Diablo at all. And then furthermore, you know, Diablo consumed like the prime evils in the Black Soul Stone. Right. So that should have been like the most crazy god tier fight you could possibly imagine.
Right.
And
then Mathiel was harder than Diablo.
Right.
Still
and then how do you, even going forward with the Diablo franchise, how do you top that? Diablo literally having the most power we can possibly imagine. Having all the prime evils. He's basically, you know, Baphomet embodied in Diablo. Like, he's got all the evils. So I don't know how we tap that. And again, like, are we Nephilim in the next Diablo? I don't see how we could be.
Is Diablo going to be in the next Diablo? Does he have to be? Can it be Diablo 4 without Diablo?
I don't know, man. I think that they need to do a better job of storytelling. And I think that Diablo shouldn't be the guy we fight, you know, in vanilla Diablo 4. It should be this continuing, you know, nemesis. We shouldn't really even see him ever. It's just like this shadowy presence, you know. It's like Lord of the Rings, you know, you never see Sauron, you know, ever.
Yeah, ever. Right.
And he's like this big thing, and if you speak his name, and it's like this crazy, like, you know, you've ever read Wheel of Time, like, it's kind of the same thing. Like,
yeah,
it's just,
the Sauron reference is huge, because I think a lot of people have seen that
right.
But that's a good point. I think that you can have Diablo highly referenced, or even like a main part of the game in that facet you just said, where he's like this presence, he's this thing, but you never really get to fight him. And then maybe, like, if they actually have a roadmap for D4, like expansion 1, expansion 2, expansion 3, Diablo 5, like if it's actually planned out like that, then yeah, man, the final expansion, I think you can bring him down.
Hell yeah.
But you got to do it like, if he's the final boss in the final expansion, it needs to be insane.
Yeah.
Like, you know, make it a 20-minute fight. Make it just fucking something ridiculous. I don't know.
One-shot mechanics out the ass.
What's one of the longest boss fights you can think of ever in any video game? I'm trying to think. Like, what's just something like, I think, and I hate to go back to this, but I think Final Fantasy VII, I think the Sephiroth final battle was pretty fucking epic. I think that was like, dude, this is good.
But weapon was way harder.
The weapon was harder, but that was kind of like this is a little Easter egg for you, for you hardcores out there, the guys that are playing through this story. You know, it was good.
Sure.
I'm not saying it was the best ever. I'm just off the top of my head, I remember not being disappointed with that. I was like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would want to see something like, you know, Lost Ark does bosses the best, and has like one-shot mechanics, and like, but you have telegraphs to get out, but like, you know, sometimes they can combo.
Sometimes they're super tight.
So you have to like time your potions, and you only get so many uses of your potion, and like, that's all really, really good, and it feels very good and rewarding and difficult. PoE doesn't sometimes. Like, you just get one shot and you didn't really see it coming. And Diablo 3 is no better. You know, Diablo 3 has Rift Guardians that like can just kill you in the blink of an eye, and you'd have no idea that's coming.
Right.
So,
well, how do you feel about Lost Ark's telegraphs that they actually draw on the screen? It takes away from immersion for sure.
It does.
But I like them personally. I think it's cool to see it. I think they could be more manipulated in the game to where it's not as like, you know, just let's draw a box on the text, you know.
You know,
how do you think?
I played, so like there was a game called Terra. I don't know if you ever played that.
I've heard of it, but like, I haven't played it.
There wasn't telegraphed attacks, but it was also about like memorizing like certain tells that the boss would have. So you'd be like, okay, if he's going to raise his right arm to like the right and he's going to come back like this, he's going to do this one attack. Right. Like,
yeah, so but then you have to learn. You have to learn the hard way.
Exactly. And I like that too. So I like it. And honestly, if it were up to me, I'd have a combination. So you'd have some attacks that they wouldn't feel telegraphed in the sense that like, oh, you got a red circle on the ground, but you definitely would have a very clear indication of what you're not supposed
Mike
to be in.
Punch Out when he flashes, you know, you got to dodge left.
Something.
Did you play that?
No.
I didn't have a Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
I didn't have Nintendo. I wasn't allowed to have video games until Super Nintendo.
So good.
But yeah, a combination of, yes, telegraphed attacks on top of, you know, maybe some melee attacks or whatever that you would just have to know were coming because you played it enough. I like that. That's why I like going to the Awakener fight, like instead of watching a guide and just like knowing exactly what was to come, it was like, let's learn and let's figure it out.
It's definitely more fun to discover it.
Yeah.
I think about the hardcore players and I'm like, man, that would be brutal to try to discover shit. You know what I mean? If you're trying to learn tells and hardcore, I guess you play softcore until you learn it, or you watch guides, you know?
Sure. Or you just have to play like so cautious until you like learn it. Like
that's exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of jumped back to the evil thing. I really hope that Diablo is.
Yeah.
I want some epic boss fights, man, and I don't feel like we really got that in Diablo 3 on any of them. I don't think any of them were really that.
I mean, Belial. Remember the first time you fought Belial? You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. It was brutally hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Belial was a pretty good fight. I mean, really.
Yeah, Belial is a good fight, but I don't think Diablo was really that cool. Like, it transports you to a shadow realm and you fight yourself. Right. You know.
But I mean, if you got trapped, you would die. I mean, I don't know.
I guess. I think. But I don't necessarily think that the difficulty is also the only thing that matters in the epicness of the fight either. You know.
Sure.
So, Dirty Nap says a lot of new games are suffering launch delays. Marvel's Avengers just got delayed. Final Fantasy VII just got delayed.
True.
And Wilson just got delayed. What are your thoughts on delays?
I mean, I think it's in their best interest. I mean, we've seen games come out and they clearly weren't ready. And it just like kills them. Like it literally paralyzes their success. So I think it's always smarter to delay than to have a bad launch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We might not like it, but it's in our best interest, right?
Yeah, like I was super excited for Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
And so that getting put off, I think it's like a month. They're pushing it back at least a month.
Is that just PlayStation 4?
Originally, yeah. I don't think they even said it outright. But what I've heard is that PlayStation has a year exclusivity on it. I've never officially read that.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody says. But I think eventually it will come out on PC and Xbox and other consoles, just like 15 did a year later, you know. But yeah,
I don't even own a PlayStation 4, dude.
What a noob. Sell that Xbox, man. What do you need that piece of shit for?
I don't know. I watch DVDs on it.
Halo 6 will come out. You watch DVDs still too? Goddamn.
Yeah, dude. Or use it for Netflix, dude. I bought these smart TVs when I moved into this new house. I was like, I'll go get like, cause TVs are cheap now.
Yeah.
So I got like smart TVs, and like they suck. They all suck.
You must have bought cheap TVs.
No, they're Samsung Beauty TVs.
Just buy a 4K Fire Stick and you'll be good. And even if you don't have a 4K TV, it's got enough processing power that it's not a fucking laggy piece of shit.
So what I end up doing basically is like the software on those was so shitty and it was like so fucking slow and I hated it. I just hooked up my Xboxes to it, so I use those for Netflix basically.
Yeah, that's what. So I have Roku's on like everything. If you have Spectrum, they have an app that lets you watch TV without having a cable box. It's pretty baller.
But then you have to pay for TV. I don't have that.
Yeah, sure. I'm actually about to drop that too. Right. Yeah, I don't have any idea where we were with that, but delays suck. So
yeah.
Hex asks, would you rather have money or fame?
I already have fame, so I mean money, of course. What
I mean, fame kind of brings money, but let's just say, like,
you gotta pick one or the other.
Hold on, you could be like a part owner of fucking Amazon, right? Let's say you're like a majority stockholder Amazon. Nobody knows who you are, but you're worth like fucking, $60 billion, right? Or you could be who's famous? Who's famous but not filthy rich?
The Kardashians.
No, they're actually filthy rich too. I think one of them's worth a couple billion.
When you think filthy rich, I'm like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, filthy rich.
I mean, one of them's worth several billion. That's pretty fucking filthy rich.
Yeah. So
yeah. I don't know. Let's just say like, yeah, you're
easy. I mean, it's easy. Is that even a question? Because
you'd be filthy rich?
Yeah, because you want a paparazzi chasing you around all day.
Chat like said Wesley Snipes. That's a good fucking example. Super famous. He's got zero money because the IRS took it all. There you go. Man.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, that does sound terrible. Filthy
Why
rich.
would you want people are literally implant themselves into your life just to try to get like a bad picture of you. They say shit to just like piss you off, so maybe you say something on camera that's like unflattering. Like, it's a terrible life to be famous. Terrible. So rich and be like hide under the radar.
You definitely take the money. That's not even a question. But people would still try to get at you for your money. So. The last question we have, if you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, we take questions every single week. You could tweet them at myself or Lord Fluffy or in our Discords. So that's how you can get in on this. Trent asked, have you ever stolen anything before? I mean, of course, but I got a story. Do you have one?
Yeah,
you're laughing, so I know you got one. All right. So I'm gonna go. Like, mine's shoplifted. I shoplifted something when I was a kid.
I wasn't even a kid, man.
I was probably like 13, 14. I don't know, but I was at a buddy's house playing. We were playing Super Nintendo. I don't remember exactly what happened, but somehow something hit me in my eye and my eye got scratched. And then for the rest of the day, I couldn't see. Like my eye was like fuzzy, and we were trying to play like Mortal Kombat and shit, and I couldn't play because my eye was fucked up. And so his parents were like potheads, and they were literally like smoked out. And we're like, "Do you have anything?" And they're like, "Fuck off," is basically what they told us. Get out of here. We're smoking. Or something. So we're like, shit. So like, all right. So we walked down to the to like the little local convenience store, and we went inside, and we didn't have any money. Like, we were like not even a fucking nickel, right? And we walked in, and I'm like, dude, I want some Visine for my eye so bad. And my buddy's like, all right. He's like, I'm gonna go look and see where the cash lady is. Just stick it in your pocket or whatever. And I'm like, I was fucking scared. I'm like, nah, dude, no, I'm not gonna do it. And he's like, just fucking do it. And then he's like, go. She's talking, go. And so I stuck a little thing of Visine in my pocket and then walked out of the store. So, I mean, it was good intentions, man. My eye was fucked up.
Good intentions.
I wanted to play Mortal Kombat,
Sure, dude.
So,
yeah, man.
What do you got?
I never want to tell the story. It's just embarrassing. Okay. You know, I was in the Yu-Gi-Oh for a bit.
You're in where?
Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game.
Oh, are you Yu-Gi-Oh, the card? Oh, you still Yu-Gi-Oh? That's embarrassing.
So I would go because like it's stupid. Like people pay like thousands of dollars to buy these packs. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like they're in these like boxes, and you just like you just go grab some and walk out of the door, like no problem. And so, like Walmart over time, like would get smarter about like how they would store them, and so they put them into like these like plastic things, and they're like, well, then you just like tear apart the plastic thing, you put that in your pocket, and then.
So hold on, you were a repeat Yu-Gi-Oh thief?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
These are my way younger years, and so. And then like got to the point where they made this like huge pack, right? Like this huge.
This is like an anti-fluff device, basically.
Huge pack, and so I was like, shit. And so I like had this jacket. This is so stupid. I had this jacket. And I was like, well, I mean, I could probably like get it in there. And so I like take this giant fucking thing, and I'm in like the pet food aisle because it cut off all the camera angles and shit. And like I'm trying to put it in my jacket, and I guess some lady like sees me do it. She's like, sir, stop right there. I'm like, oh, what's up? What's up? I'm like thinking that I hit it pretty well, and I guess you could just totally see the edge of the package. She's like, come with me. I'm like, fuck, like, fuck. Like this was like kind of right before I was going to Halo Pro, and like there wasn't really anything going on. Like I didn't have like a great job.
So you were in college?
No, this is before college. Wait, because I went from high school directly to college on a scholarship, but I fucked off and I didn't really care. And then I just like worked for a living for a little bit.
So, but you were like in your 20s.
Yeah. This is before Halo took off. And so, so I'm like, shit, like I don't want to lose my job, and like I don't want anything on my record. Like this is crazy. I can't believe I did this. I'm so stupid. And so like we're walking towards the front of the store. And she's like, come with me. And she's like, and take me to customer service. I assume they call the police. And so, like, but we walked by the front door. And so I had that, like, instant where I was like, well,
peace.
Do I just go with her and, like, be reprimanded like I probably should be? Or should I, like, so I just bolted. I bolted out the door.
With the Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
No, she took them away. But yeah, I bolted out the fucking door. And then I, like, got in the car and I, like, slammed on the gas. And I was like, like, no one's chasing me, but I was freaking the fuck out. But it's so embarrassing. I never sold a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards from there on out.
Well, what else did you steal?
I was done. Sometimes, honestly, like, I go to the grocery store and I spend, like, $300 fucking on groceries. And maybe I left a 12-pack of Coke on the bottom of my cart. Do I feel bad about it? No, I don't at all. I even will go out, and you have those people that look at the receipts and they look at it and they're like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, no, you didn't even fucking look. I didn't pay for that Coke.
Go through the routine. Yeah, they just go through the routine. I've done that before too. I did it with a big ass thing of cat food one day. Like it was on the bottom, and I walked out. Yeah. And as I'm unloading, I'm like, oh shit, they didn't scan this. I'm like, it's okay. Chalk it up. They've fucked me many times, like selling me bad expired things.
Sure, Walmart's struggling for cash.
Yeah, I have a story similar to the car chase scene. When I was in my early 20s, I was into motorcycles a lot, and my dad was too. So we used to go ride motorcycles. That was kind of a thing we did together. And so it'd be like, I was in college, but I get done with class or whatever. I come home, it'd be early in the afternoon, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go for a ride?" I'm like, "Yeah." But I was broke, so I didn't pay for insurance on my motorcycle. My thought process was, if I wreck this thing, it's my loss. If I wreck it bad enough to fuck somebody else's car up, I'm probably dead anyways. So whatever. Wow.
It's good.
Because I was super poor. Like I was in college. I had like some part-time fucking job at Blockbuster. I made I had no money, right?
Sure.
And so we're out riding one day, and we're hauling ass. Like, we both have like a little Evel Knievel in us, and we're driving super fast. This cop is like sitting there waiting, and he flips his siren on. He catches us, he flips his siren on. Fuck. And so I didn't have insurance. I'm like, damn it, dude, I'm gonna, he's gonna take my bike, or I don't know what he's gonna do, but it's not gonna be good. I was hauling ass and no card. So he starts to pull over, and my dad pulls over like completely. And then I kind of keep creeping really slow. and I put like a gap between us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't even think I had a plate on my bike at the time. I might have not even had a plate on it. And so the cop like sees me keep going just a little bit, and he's kind of deciding like, do I stop with this guy or do I get this guy that's still kind of creeping up? And then as soon as I see him like come to a complete stop for just a second, I fucking downshifted and hit it as hard as I possibly could, and I was gone, dude. And I'm on these back roads. I'm like passing cars on corners and shit, like the most dangerous dumb shit you've ever seen in your life, right? And I'm like, oh, this cop's chasing me and he's gonna radio. And then so like I get to an intersection and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go this way. And I'm like going left, right, left, right, left, right, just trying to get lost, so the cop can't find me. And so eventually I ended up getting myself kind of lost. I find my way out. I basically took like a 5-hour detour around Missouri to come back home another way, and then didn't ride my bike for hours. But it was the same. Like the cops chasing me. I gotta go.
Right.
So
bandit you.
Yeah, didn't get caught. So,
sweet, dude. Sweet.
That's my motorcycle story. That's it, man. That's all the questions we have. We have confirmed episode 82. Fluff is what do they call somebody that steals a
kleptomaniac? Yeah.
Kleptomaniac. Chelsea Yu-Gi-Oh! Klepto. You still have those Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, don't you?
I do. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I had
Meanwhile,
like
Dad's
some
being
crazy cards too.
Yeah, so to follow up with that story, the cop started to chase after me after I took off. My dad turned around and just drove home instantly. So the cop ended up getting neither of us.
Nice.
So
thanks, Dad.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, if you guys have questions to submit next week, like I said earlier, join our Discords, follow us on Twitter, send us messages. The best way.
Easy.
Anything else?
No.
Dunzo. Cool. If you guys,
the
thanks for hanging
Discord
out.
is really the best way. So you guys should definitely join the Discords. Exclamation point Discord. Exclamation point ThaPChild.
Yep. Join the Discords. I will catch you guys next week then for episode 83. You can find me at ThaPChild on everything.
Yeah. I'm Lord_Fluffy. Double those underscores on the Twitters. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out, dudes.